Hey, you're watching Heavy Metal Television. I'm Ed Masley, your host for the next 4 hours. We're going to start this set right now with, I'm sure that there are certain bands that people are like, I don't know, are they really metal? I don't know, or how metal are they? This is probably one of those bands for some people. This is Faith No More on Heavy Metal Television. You're watching Heavy Metal Television. I'm your host, Ed Masley. I also write about some of these bands at AZ Central, get interviews when I can, and get concert announcements as they come in. So if you want to stay up on what metal shows are coming to town, you should definitely check us out. This is one of my favorite band names in heavy metal, the Black Dahlia Murders, here on Heavy Metal Television. You're watching Heavy Metal Television. I'm your host, Ed Masley. I'll be your host for this 4-hour block, and we're going to start this set with a great band. I've interviewed Dee Snider a few times, and he's really fun to talk to. He's a real kook. He's as much fun on the phone as you would think if you've seen his videos. They've made amazing videos, so I don't know which one we're about to play, but I love their videos. This is Twisted Sister. Hey, you're watching Heavy Metal Television. I'm your host today for this 4-hour block, Ed Masley. I write at AZ Central, where I get to interview some of these bands that we'll be playing. This is not one that I have interviewed, but you should definitely check this out. They're a great band. In this moment, finally some females in the videos singing. This is In This Moment here. You're watching Heavy Metal Television. I'm your host, Ed Masley, and we're going to get this set started with some classic metal, Iron Maiden. Hey, I'm your host, Ed Masley. You're watching Heavy Metal Television. We're going to start this set with, are they like the biggest metal band of all time? I think they're probably like the biggest metal band, or they have the biggest album, or is AC/DC Back in Black bigger? I don't know. But Metallica, they were huge, they are huge, and we're going to watch their video here on Heavy Metal Television. You're watching Heavy Metal Television. I'm your host, Ed Masley, and we're going to start this set with some music by Clutch. Hey, you're watching Heavy Metal Television. I'm your host, Ed Masley, and I'm sure that I will seem more uncool than ever when I tell you this, but I really enjoy watching the singer from this band coming up on Gilmore Girls because he's really fun to watch. This is Skid Row on Heavy Metal Television. You're watching Heavy Metal Television. I'm Ed Masley. I'm your host for this particular day, for these hours that we get to spend together watching metal videos. This upcoming video is by a guy whose career went from causing all this controversy with a song called Cop Killer to playing a cop on TV, right? That's crazy. He does that, right? That's him. That's the cop, right? He plays the cop. I'm almost sure. Anyhow, this is Body Count on Heavy Metal Television. Hey, you're watching Heavy Metal Television. I'm your host, Ed Masley. We're going to start this set with a video by Camelot. You're watching Heavy Metal Television. I'm your host, Ed Masley. Right now we're going to see a video by AC/DC back when they didn't need a throne on stage because they had a singer who couldn't stand up on his own power. This is AC/DC. You're watching Heavy Metal Television. I'm your host, Ed Masley. This video we're about to play is by Heaven and Hell, which of course is Ronnie James Dio with members of Black Sabbath. And the first metal concert I ever saw was Black Sabbath with Ronnie James Dio on lead vocals back in the day. And I only went because I wanted to see the opening act. I was in high school, and Alvin Lee, the guitar player for 10 Years After, was opening for Black Sabbath. And I was like, all right, I'll go to see the Black Sabbath concert to see him. And he was great. And they were great, and they went on to become my favorite metal band for obvious reasons. They should be your favorite metal band too, and if they're not, you need to work on that. But this is Heaven and Hell right now on Heavy Metal Television. You're watching Heavy Metal Television. I'm your host, Ed Masley. We're here in Phoenix, and we're going to play some Arizona music right now. This is a band from Prescott, Storm of Perception. Thanks for hanging out here with us on Heavy Metal Television. I'm your host, Ed Masley. I will be your host for just a little while longer, and then I'll turn it over to some perfectly capable other person. This group we're going to play right now is Straight Line Stitch, And it's been fun hanging out with you. You should check out the stuff I write on AZ Central. I often get to interview some of the types of bands that we're playing, and we have a guide to all the big upcoming metal concerts in the Valley on there now, so you can check it out and see who's coming. Hey, thank you so much for hanging out here on Heavy Metal Television. I'm your host, Ed Masley, and we're going to start this set off with a band called Suicide Silence. Hey, you're watching Heavy Metal Television. This is I'm your host, Ed Masley. It's been great hanging out with you. This is the last set I get to play. Then I have to go back to my job at AZ Central, where I write about music. I probably don't write about enough metal. That's probably going to be the complaint. But I do write about as much metal as I can. And there is much metal to write about. So maybe I'll see you out of the show this summer or in the fall when it's more, not 180 degrees. But we're going to end this particular block with we're going to hear Sumo Psycho here on Heavy Metal Television.